Hey, everybody. Welcome to this evening's little live broadcast of what's on my mind. As I lead off every show, I like to say there's things I think about, things that come across my desk, topics of the day. Some of them are things that have interest. Some of them are things that just piss me off. They're the rants and ravings of somebody that sits behind a desk far too many weeks out of the year instead of getting in the field where he belongs. Something I wanted to chat with everybody about today, and I'd really like to have your feedback on this. This is kind of where the outdoors and social issues cross paths. Um, you know, I ran into a guy not that long ago that was asking me for some donations for a special program that he's got going on. He's been very successful at it for about the last 10 years. He takes people who have drug addiction issues and not just that they're addicted to drugs, but some of them have gone to jail. They've gotten out of jail. They're trying to find a way out of that life, and he's trying to show them a life in the field, because most of them have felony drug convictions and stuff like that. They can't purchase firearms, so they're not gonna go hunting. Maybe some of them might take up bow hunting, but he does fishing trips with them. He takes these groups of people to local rivers and lakes and streams and things like that. And he fishes for anything that's in season. His goal is to get them in the field and teach them a hobby, something that helps them occupy their time, find peace. And I'm a big believer in that the outdoors can be something that cures the demon, chases away the demons that are inside of us. I know that I can find a great deal of peace. I'm not addicted to anything other than hunting and fishing in the outdoors, but I know that I can find peace from the stress of everyday life when I go in the field and no one can bother me. I'm in my space. I think that's why he's found so much success with this, because he's kind of taught some of these people how to find that peace. His biggest challenge isn't his own fundraising, though. His biggest challenge is getting these people into the field after he's done paying for them, things of that nature, because it costs money to put fuel in your car. It costs money to buy a fishing license. You you it's really hard to be unemployed or homeless and have a hobby of any kind, much less fishing. And so that led to a deep discussion that he and I were having, was that people who were, let's say, convicted of a nonviolent of them were dealers. I mean, to a certain degree, to me, that's violence. If you're dealing, fentanyl and meth, that's, to me, that's bringing violence through a different method to the community. But realistically, most of the people he works with are just people who are caught with drugs, or they were caught driving under the influence of drugs, or just a lot of drug issues, and they get caught. They end up going to jail. They end up with somewhere between a misdemeanor and maybe a felony on record, and he's finding that they become unemployable. And that took us into a deeper discussion of how do we platform, not just in our own little community, but on a national basis with the television series and the that we're connected to. We have a large platform. We can actually pitch ideas that can get to decision makers, to policymakers and lawmakers. And this guy, I keep him unnamed for the time being because I didn't ask his permission to broadcast it, but this guy and I, in a half an hour, came up with a way to solve the drug addiction issue and solve them all, right? Put a hell of a dent in it. Um, and this is because, like, if you get addicted to methamphetamine, and I've had that hit close to home for me, with friends and family, that were addicted to, methamphetamine and other drugs, it or more to rewire your brain so that you're not dependent on, you're not thinking about, you're not big. And very hard to put someone in a 90-day rehab program and expect them to get out and just do well. Like you went through rehab, done, you get figure it out. When your brain is telling you you have to have this, it's almost impossible to get off of it. And it just takes time. And I thought, it's an expensive problem to fix, but I think we could fix it once and then just have strong drug laws that, prevent the drugs from getting to the people. And realistically, we ought to be asking for like Purdue Pharmaceutical and companies like that, they should be paid for this program. Here it is. I want to pitch it at you, and I want to know what your thoughts are on the risk. Don't ruin their life over it, and tell them to figure it out. Give them a chance. Everybody deserves a chance. I think that's where we have to have a law that says, all right, you're going to jail for 18 months. Let's say I'm just going to use a round number, 18 months. And the entire 18 months you're in jail, you're drug-free environment, and you're going to rehab every day. Okay. Now it goes further than that because we also have a problem with a lack of productive workforce in America, partly because of our drug issues. Okay. Yeah, we've got a segment of our community that's lazy, but we also have another segment of our community that is just addicted to drugs, and until they get cured of this disease, they're useless. Okay? And they're surely not going to join the workforce. But when they get into prison, you put them to assess the inmate. Okay. And is this person drugs? If so, give him something else to do. He's already learned a trade. Maybe help him with jailhouse, law or whatever, but he can do something else. Or, if they're a CPA, or once again, if they're educated and they're already poised to go back into society as a productive workforce member, fantastic. But if they're not, if they're uneducated and don't have a trade, that's when you say, okay, here's the plan for this guy. All right. So our plan in my mind would be you take the first 6 months that they're in jail. And the reality is during those 6 months, they're useless, man. They got to get over their drug addiction, the initial, say, first half of it or more. You got to, give them a chance to get out of the system, get to where they're starting to think straight. During the latter stages, that first 6 months, have that conversation with them. Okay. You've gone to rehab every day for the last 5 months, 6 months. What do you want to do? What are you good at? Do you want to learn how to be a welder, a plumber, an electrician, a diesel mechanic, a vehicle mechanic? What do you want to learn how to do? Because you have to pick something, and you force them to pick something. Okay. And then for the next 12 months, they go through a trade school. They learn a trade. They get some formal training. Okay. And then when they're done with that 18-month stint, maybe some of them are still going to have some trade school time that they need to complete. And then we figure out how to help them complete that, let's say at a local community college or trade school or whatever it might be, but set them up. And when they get out of jail at the end of that 18 months, the deal is this: they don't have a criminal record. All right. And here's why that makes sense. If they have a criminal record, I don't care if you have a trade certificate, no one's going to hire you. All right. I shouldn't say no one, but very few people are going to hire you. But the deal that is made with them is you're now on a 3-year probation. For 3 years, if you don't mess up, your record's going to be clean. At the end of your probation period, there's nothing on your record. No penalty for what you did, no foul, no harm, no nothing. Live a productive life, be a productive member of society. Because if we let them out of jail and they've got a damn felony on their record or 5 or 6 misdemeanors, they can't rent a house, or it's very hard to rent a house. It's hard to get employed. It's hard to make money. It's hard to become a productive member of society. We need to find ways to cure the disease and then reintegrate these people back into society as productive members of society, not just welfare recipients. The government shouldn't just be forking over money to say, well, they couldn't get a job because they're a junkie. Here's $1,000. No, cut that off right now. All right. Put them in jail, train them, cure them, let them out of jail, with a trade certificate, ready to enter the workforce, earn money, get a home, and once again, be productive members of society. I once again, you cannot expect these people to come out of jail with a record and be able to become productive members of society on a large scale. It's just not going to work, you know? And once again, they get out with trade certificate, they make them pass a urinalysis every 2 weeks, let's say for their entire 3-year probation, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Hold them accountable for those 3 years. No criminal record, no drug use, you know, hold them to that. But at the end of the 3 years, give them a clean slate. Let them walk away a clean slate. And I think that that would be the way to do it. And look, once again, this is going to be expensive. This will cost a lot of money. But let's go to Purdue Pharmaceutical, all these drug companies that have been fleecing America for years, for billions of dollars, getting people addicted to opioids. And, you know, once again, opioids addiction, when you can't get your Oxycontin anymore, I was talking to the sheriff. He was telling me, he goes, then they transition to heroin because it's cheaper. And then once you're into the heroin, someone gives you the laced fentanyl and you end up face down in a ditch somewhere. We got to get away from that. Yeah, we've got a drug czar now. You know, there's a president in office, whether you like him or not, that's declared war on fentanyl and methamphetamines and drug cartels. And we're going to curtail the drugs coming into America. But we can still make them here. All right. There's still problems here at home. So we have to treat addiction first. Once again, it's going to be expensive up front, whether it's for taxpayers or the drug companies or whoever gets to foot the bill or all of the above. But it's better than the prolonged forever pain of generations and generations. 100 years from now, if we're still fighting the same battle, we failed. I feel like we got to fix it now. You know, and another problem that I feel like we've got is that there's too much profiteering. There's too much money to be made in the prison system. When you have private prisons, no bueno. You know, we've got people incarcerated that shouldn't be incarcerated today, just simply because there's too much money in it for them. We can cure the problems. Let's put murderers, child molesters, rapists. Let's put violent assholes in prison. Okay. There's no reason for them to be in society. Heck, I'm all for shocking them or popping them in the head with a bullet when they're real bad. No sense taxpayers feeding them for the next 40, 50 years of their life. Let them up. I'm pretty harsh on that, if you can't tell. But the idea that we're locking up drug addiction, letting them out to perpetuate that cycle over and over and over and over and over and over again, it hasn't worked. There's nothing about it that works. Let's solve the problem. Let's cure the problem. And, you know, once again, then let's go in and let's take the profiteering out of prisons. And if we take the incentive away from making money on prisons and we start putting that money into curing the drug addiction, I think we'd have a much better society today. Anyway, I'd love to have everybody's thoughts on that. You know, I've had people tell me, "Oh, you just got to lock them up and throw away the key." It's not the solution, guys. That's our taxpayer dollars. They don't sit in jail for nothing. All right, they don't sit in jail for free. We got to pay for that. Taxpayers foot the bill for that. Let's stop doing that. Let's stop wasting our money putting them in a can, you know, and putting them in a cell and feeding them for the next 40 years of their life. Let's stop that and let's fix the drug addiction and put them back into society with a trade certificates. And then they become clean, productive members of society who are driving trucks. We're 60,000 truck drivers short in America today, people. All right. Tens of thousands of electricians short, thousands of plumbers short. The trades, diesel mechanics, every dealership I know, whether it's Cat or Ford or Dodge, everyone needs good mechanics. There's shortages in every category. Let's hit the trades. You know, let's get these people trained up, give them trade certificates, let them make a good living. And like I said, join society as productive members. I think we'd be 100 years from now, we'll look back on this. Well, I won't look back on 100 years from now, but somebody will look back on today 100 years from now and say, wow, that's the day that the tide turned. I'd love your thoughts on that. You know, once again, I'll look at everybody's comments and respond as I can, but I would love it if I could get a little feedback from everybody. Okay. Now let's change topics altogether. For the next few minutes, I want to talk about something that's coming up pretty soon. That's turkey season. It's March, so some parts of the United States are already open. I know some folks are already hunting Osceolas down in Florida and whatnot. turkey season special time of the year for a lot of folks. For me, I go a little bit. I'm not a turkey junkie like a lot of guys are. I'd rather hunt the fur and claws. I like to go bear hunting more than I like to go turkey hunting. But you know what? There's a lot of folks out there do it. And at Pendleton Ammunition, we've actually got that TSS turkey loads, and it blew me away that you can take number 9 tungsten super shot TSS, put it in a 410 and kill a turkey at 50, 60 yards with a 410. Blows me away. Anybody out there used a 410 for turkey hunt yet? I'd love to know how many people out there are using 410s now. The 410 is taking the world by storm. In fact, we started a little hashtag 410 Mafia in social media. We love to follow that, and see how many other people are using it and see the turkeys that they're killing. But it's the tungsten's definitely changed the turkey hunting game. And I'd love to know how many of you out there plan on going spring turkey hunting, having a good time and getting in the woods. And I guess with turkey season opening like April 15th for us, and then we bear hunt in May, I could do a little bit more turkey hunt. Maybe this year I'll get out in the woods and do a little bit more. But like I said, I'd love to know how many people out there turkey hunt, how many of you are using tungsten, how many of you are using 410s. I'd love to hear from any one of you. So, but then going back to the first issue, I'd love to know what you guys think about this, because if myself and another guy over a cup of coffee in 30 minutes can come up with the solution to the nation's drug problem, why can't our lawmakers do it? I mean, they're the people we elected to solve these problems. Why can't they do it? Seems like a simple enough thing for me, right? I don't want to make drugs legal. We already saw Measure 110 in Oregon failed the communities. Don't make it illegal. That was baloney. All right. Still got to be a crime, but you have to give people an out. All right. You got to give people a way to get cured and become productive members of society. So, well, hey, that's all the ramblings I've got for you here tonight on what's on my mind. But I've got another great topic for tomorrow night. I can hardly wait to share it with all of you. Tomorrow night's hardcore hunting. We're going to talk about mule deer hunting and caribou hunting, some of the populations that are at most risk, and some of the hot spots you can still go hunting, especially for mule deer. A couple of locations out there that have come up pretty hot on my radar lately. And like I said, I'll share all of this with you tomorrow night. So right here on What's on My Mind. We'll see you then. If you've liked listening to What's on My Mind, remember to give this video a like and either follow or subscribe to this page so that you never miss a single live episode when we stream them from right here in our studio. And don't forget to drop a comment below. I want to know what's on your mind.